Usually on this channel, we either go on adventures or work on cars or that sort of stuff. Well, today we're doing both of these things except for two minor changes. The adventure is to my front yard, and the car is this house that I'm renting. Well, you saw the title. We're putting up Christmas lights today, and we're gonna be selling this Goldwing because I really don't want it anymore. And while I love Goldwings, I really don't want this one. I have this massive box here. Oh, I swear it's heavier than last year. And a bunch of stuff in the trunk that I got from Goodwills and Big Lots because Big Lots is going out of business. Well, I don't have a plan yet, but let's get started. What's the over-under? I drop at least one thing. Shockingly enough, I didn't drop anything. The real adventure is gonna be not falling off of this sketchy, rickety-ass ladder that I got for free. What you're looking at on the screen right now is what I did last year with the shop here, and I'm gonna do that same thing again. I really liked how that looked. That took a long time, and now it's raining, so I'm putting you in the shop. I think I'm just gonna finish this little area here and then call it if it keeps raining like this. Actually, I'm from Western Washington. Since when do I care about a little rain? Well, we've returned to the shop because I got these light bulbs for Christmas last year, and with them, they said I should go find my own strand at the Goodwill. I didn't find any, so we've got our strand here, and well, enjoy this time lapse of me putting light bulbs into this thing. All right, there is 100 C7 bulbs ready to be put up, but I have absolutely no idea where I'm gonna put these because if you were noticing, I'm running out of space, to be honest. I'm not sure I know how to not overdo it. I might get a knock for this one and I'll have to take those off. We'll see. Man, as you might be able to hear, it is pouring and I am soaked. That took me about 3.5 hours and it rained for probably about 2.5 or 3 of them. That's cool. It's like a winter wonderland in here. It's not exactly the most cohesive thing, but hey, that's who I am. Well, if you're new here, I hope you enjoyed, and if you're not, well, thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this, even though it's not what we usually do here. All right, now that we've got all those Christmas lights up, and as you can see, I've definitely cleaned up the massive mess that I left. Don't look over there. We're gonna get this thing listed for sale, and I think I'm just gonna sell it as is. If you didn't catch all the videos I made on this thing, there is a playlist that's linked down below, but essentially in a nutshell, what I fixed was the air compressor. This thing has an onboard air compressor for the rear shock, so if you load it up with cargo or a person, you can lift it back up so it's level. The switches on that were bad. I fixed those. These switches on the cruise control were bad, so I fixed those. That was a nightmare. I had to take off so many plastics. It wouldn't start very reliably. I think that was largely due to the air filter, so I fixed that, but I also wired in a switch for the headlights, so the headlight now does turn off like it should when you're starting the bike. I think that's about all that I fixed. As for things that are wrong with this thing, the fuel gauge doesn't work. The fuel light does, but the gauge does not. None of the thing with the radio works. I mean, you can kind of get it to turn on, but it's permanently on the muted setting because the mute button doesn't work. The emergency flasher button doesn't work. The rear brake doesn't really work all that well. There's a piece of plastic that's supposed to go over here that's missing a tab so it doesn't stay on, so it's in the trunk. And there's a piece of plastic that protects the radiator that I broke when I was replacing the switchgear. There are actually heating and cooling vents here, and those aren't really hooked up as they should be. There's probably a few other small things that I can't think of right now, but yeah, this thing is really rough and I just don't want it. It's not in good enough shape for me to bother with it. Maybe someone who restores these is interested, but I sure as heck am not. Let's get her started out of the shop, and I'm just gonna drive down the street probably a block or two and get to a place that's a little better to take some photos. Stick around to the end of the video if you actually want to watch me clean the shop. properly. It'll just be a time lapse, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So some people, when taking photos for a vehicle like this, they try and hide all the imperfections and all that stuff and like take a picture from really far away so you can't see that the paint's all faded and the clear coat's ruined. I'm not like that. I find that that wastes my time with people showing up who think the bike's in nicer condition than it is, and then they don't want it. So I just take a lot of pictures and I mention all the flaws in the description, and I think that results in getting only the buyer that actually is interested. It worked really well with my RSX. That thing had a lot of problems, and I didn't get anyone looking at it who wasn't the guy who actually ended up buying it. Obviously, it depends on your situation, your vehicle, your location, all that stuff, but in my limited experience, that's been pretty good for me. All right, let's see if this thing will start. I think it's gonna need a jump pack, but we'll try it. Yep, that's not gonna do it. Last time we tried to do this in last week's video, Leah had the only jump pack because her car was having some battery issues, so she took it with her. And so I had to jump this off of the shadow or the shadow off of this. I don't know, it was a nightmare. Go watch that video. It is absolute chaos. But I have the jump pack this time, so this should be easy. Let's see if it'll start now. A little bit of choke. Keep running. Damn it. There we go. I think she's gonna keep running now unless I stall it. And we're gonna be bringing this with us for sure. All right, not mounting anything to the windshield this time. I think that's a smart decision. You'll just be riding back here. Hi, Pupper. What you doing? You friendly? Oh, sorry. You interested in a Goldwing? Yeah, me either.
Got this void in my chest that won't go away.
I think that'll probably do it. All right, let's get her back home and up and listed. Well, it actually died and restarted once, so I think if I keep the battery on the tender, it should start right up for whoever wants to buy it or check it out. But yeah, I gotta go put that listing together, and then I gotta come back out here and clean up my Christmas light mess. I also forgot, I don't have the seat bolted down right now because I've been working on this thing more than I've been riding it. So none of those photos are gonna have the handles on here, but I'll have to put those back on before the seller comes. I don't think that, of all things, will deter them. But I forgot one last photo to show all the other stuff that's included. All right, now I think I'm really done. I'm gonna throw all this stuff back in here. Let's throw these handles back on though. All right, now we truly are done. Let's go get this thing listed. All right, I'm back out here and it is time to clean up. The biggest mess by far is the Christmas lights mess. I got a bunch of new ones on clearance and there's, well, a mess. But I also need to move these bikes back over to where they belong with the Goldwing by the door this time, since we've listed that one for sale, and the Shadow here in the front. And the main goal behind cleaning today is to get the Loyal back in here because I have some parts on order that we're gonna be installing, hopefully in next week's video if they get here in time. So if you wanna see that, make sure to subscribe. If you liked seeing this little grab bag of stuff, well, it's kind of similar to last week's video, so like this video and then go watch that one too. And if you got anything to say, well, there's a comment section for that, so leave one down below. I might appreciate some condolences for what you're about to see at the end of the video. All right, we're gonna get this shop cleaned up. I'll hopefully see you next week. Well, and with that, the Loyal's in the shop, ready to be worked on. I think we're done tidying. Now let me show you that clip that I promised you of not my finest moment.